Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Devil's Advocate Trades Edition for your segment Hard Hats and Hard Truth with myself and Michael. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
I'd be better when I'm like, don't make fart noises, and then you proceed to make one through the entire transition before
Yeah,
we start recording.
of course.
Okay.
Never stop being childlike. Never give that up.
The sense of enchantment is so important in every stage of your life. I agree with you there, 100%. I will
Mhm.
agree with you. Um, so there's a couple things that I was going to bring up because you did an amazing thing and you were like, hey, like, here's some really great topics. And then we just finished saying that they all kind of flow into each other. And then you kind of gave me this, like the rundown of what our transcripts kind of like spit out, that we do
Yep.
kind of circle around the similar topics and they all kind of flow into each other. So did I say good morning to you? Good morning,
Yes.
Michael.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay.
Good morning again, Lisa.
It's
Coffee? Would
fucking
you like coffee?
in a cup
You need a
that says
bigger mug.
underestimate me. That'll be fun.
You need a bigger mug.
Fuck right.
Like one of those Super Tim's mugs, the ones like this that everybody brings on vacations and stuff.
Yep. I'm gonna
Yep.
turn my volume up because I don't hear you as much. And
Oh,
I wanna hear all the wonderful things you need to say. So we're gonna hear that.
that
Did you hear that?
I did. Only
Yeah,
slightly.
I know. It's all good. Okay. 3 things. We're June.
We're Jan.
June has a lot of celebrations inside of it.
Yep.
And I always want to try and in my podcast, it's one of the things I always like to try to do, and I think it's good to do it in our segment, is to recognize that it is Pride Month.
Mhm.
It is Men's Mental Health. It is Juneteenth. There's a couple more. There's a few more of them. There's Father's Day, which I always found interesting that men's mental health was right around Father's Day. And I was like, that's so fitting, but it's also kind of depressing.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree.
So happy Father's Day to all the wonderful fathers. Fuck you to all the bad ones. Because
No,
ours
just do better. Try to
just do
do
well.
better.
But
And
you
maybe
can
you
say
can't
that.
do better because maybe that falls into men's mental health. Maybe you can't do better.
And that's a fair statement, but at the same time, I'm gonna say that there is a percentage that it is 100% it's a mental health.
Mhm.
But a mental health where they want to do better, but just they're frozen,
Mhm.
right? There are other ones where the mental health is more of like a go get that fixed, kind
Yep.
of like our buzzword narcissism, high manipulative person, sociopath, psychopath, whatever. Like those ones are like maybe get some psychiatric assistance.
Or
Women can be that too, but we're talking about men's mental health. So,
yeah.
and I truly believe that, and I believe it because I've read part of it, but also just being around people who suffer from these different types of mental health. I
Mhm.
believe that it is 100% more learned behavior than it is something that you're just born with, um, due to circumstance, situation, and environment.
Mhm.
How do you grow into a loving, I mean, maybe not for psychopaths. Psychopaths, they say, are like they're kind of born that way, but like when it comes to like highly manipulative and sociopathic and narcissistic, uh
The narcissistic, I feel, is thrown around way too easily, for one.
well, it is thrown around way too easily. Because when I first heard, like, I remember when I was younger, like when I was 13, and I would say, I'm like, people would say, you're so narcissistic. It was because I was constantly looking at myself in a mirror. Right. So it was like, oh, you're so full of yourself. And it was like, yeah. It was only in my 30s that I heard the buzzword narcissistic relating to someone who is highly manipulative, who doesn't love themselves, who is an overachiever, who collects people to feel better about themselves while making that person feel bad about themselves, and that they're very strategic in the people that they pick. So when we're talking about men's mental health, that goes on both sides of the coin. That's not just men doing it, that's women treating men like that, and their mental health is failing because of a narcissistic female or a narcissistic partner or a narcissistic parent.
Or just people who just disagree. Like, I mean, I've heard people say like, "Oh, they're a narcissist," because they disagree with you.
Yeah, but
Like
that's
that,
not
but
being a
that's all it took.
narcissist.
That was your
That's
basic
the
minimum
you're
threshold.
You're using the word to your
I know
narrative, which is
it's
narcissistic in itself. Don't
right.
use it to your advantage.
I think all human beings are slightly narcissistic. I think
But we all
everybody
have the
has a
traits.
tendency. We all
We
have the
all have the
traits. So just be cautious throwing that out, I think.
well, in courts, judges don't hear it. They're like, "It's a buzzword." That's why I say it's a buzzword.
Mm.
It's a word that's around so often. It is true. It's like girls are at lunch and they're talking about their boyfriend and they're like, one girl will say, "Oh, well, like he always asks me what's on my phone. He always is this, he's always that." And it's like, "Oh, he's controlling, he's a narcissist." Whereas I'm like, maybe he's insecure because there's something that's happened in his life or there's something that's gone on between the two of you that you haven't picked up yet that is creating an insecurity. So you need to reassure him. If you have nothing to hide, hand him your fucking phone. Like,
It could be something so small as you know what, like we're talking, and I've had this in past relationships where you're actually having an active conversation, and she'll pick up her phone and just go on her phone while you're talking. You're like, and what's on your phone is like, what is more important than the conversation we're currently having?
agreed,
Like, what do you got going on there? Like, obviously, it's something so cool. Want to share,
right?
right? And then it's
So
like,
I
well, why are
find
you asking me? You're like, because it's obviously something really important. Otherwise, you wouldn't have left the conversation
yeah.
to go to your phone.
So I find that a phone is a tool for disassociation. They wanna
Can
disassociate
be
with the conversation because it's no longer hitting that dopamine hit. I
right,
don't wanna have this conversation anymore, so I'm gonna do something that makes me get that dopamine hit. And
right.
I think that that's where the gluttony has really come in for social media and digital, is that there is a gluttonous aspect to it. You know that if you go through reels, you'll find something that's gonna make you laugh, it's gonna make you feel some sort of emotion outside of what you're feeling. So you disassociate from that social interaction engagement, and you just go do whatever it is you wanna do, and I think that's the downfall of digital, um, dependence.
I think there's a lot of mental health that comes with that too.
100%.
Like when you're scrolling through social media, like one's funny, then one's sad, and then one's this and one's like that's an emotional roller coaster that people are
100%.
on. Like I'm not huge on social media, like on consumption or production, right? Like I produce some stuff just for fun, like it's just a hobby for me, but I don't care where it goes. I don't care who watches it. It doesn't matter to me at all. But there are people who just like they live and breathe social media. Like every 15 minutes, they're picking up their phone, checking it again. Another 15 minutes, they're checking it again. And you're just like, that emotional where's the balance? Go
Well,
outside, touch grass, like, unplug
I
for a minute.
I know I love that you say that all the time, "Touch grass."
Touch grass. Touch
It's
grass.
true, it's true. I will say I worry more for the people that fall into, and not just a generation, because
Mhm,
many different people in different generations can identify with another generation based on how they choose to live their life and engage.
right?
But it's something that I'm really big on by teaching my kids. I'm like, "Hey, if you post something, the amount of likes is not tied to your worth.
No,
Your worth is tied to your accomplishments, to the things you do for yourself that make you feel good about." It has nothing to do with how proud you make mom. It has nothing
mm,
to do with how proud you make dad. It is nothing. It is not an external validation. It is an internal validation.
right.
If you are proud that you did this and you attain these marks, that
Cool.
is your worth. Your self-worth is based on the output and input you receive internally.
Mhm,
And they're like, "Well, are you like that?" I'm like, "For the most part, yes.
mhm.
Yes."
Go out there and
I
fail. Go out there and fail and love it. Love your
right.
failures. I love failures. That's the
Well, and it's
best
just
learning you could ever do.
I agree, but I also like when people talk about failures, I'm like, "Ugh, it's such a gross word." Like, what how do you look at a failure? Do you know what I mean? Like, for me, I'm like, "I didn't
Anytime
fail. I just learned that that's not maybe the way I wanna do it."
anytime I didn't get the desired outcome I was looking for.
Fair, but when
That's
I
it.
look at something like that, I don't look at it as a failure, I look at it as a pivoting moment.
Well, yeah, but it's still a failure because, like, you have a plan, like, you spend some time devising it, and you're like, "Ah, this is gonna work, this is gonna be awesome," and it doesn't work. That's a failure, but I
Sure,
don't see failure as a negative thing. I still failure as going, "Perfect. There were some good elements out of there. I'm gonna keep those, and then I'm gonna change where it broke."
that's
And
fair.
go, "Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this." And you bop and weave, and you bop and weave, it's a boxing match with life,
Yeah.
right? You throw your shots, but I tell you what, if you go into a boxing match and all you do is plan, you're gonna get knocked out.
Well, here's the other thing, you gotta be able to take a hit. If you ever go into a boxing ring in a
Mhm,
gym, they teach you both. They don't just teach you how to dodge the hits, they don't just teach you how to do the hits, they teach you
mhm.
how to take them too.
Yep.
You gotta be able to take them. You
Yeah,
can't
I
just
dig 'em.
fucking swing, 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 and not be able to take a hit. That's how a lot of guys, they go in there with all this ego, and they go and I've seen it in any type of fighting surrounding. If you can't take a hit,
Mhm.
you're going down like a sack of potatoes. And it's
Yeah.
the same with failure.
Yep.
You have to be able to take those hits so that you can process them and go through them and be okay. And
Yep.
know that okay, so I just, you know what? We just pivot. We just do this. And I guess it's kind of like I look at failure the same way you look as burnout. You're like, I don't burn out. I'm like, we missed a whole episode because
Right.
somebody was sleeping.
I was sleeping. Well, in all
You
fairness, I
were
mean,
burnt
I
out.
worked till 8 o'clock in the morning. And you
Yeah, but you
physically, like, your body's just like, hey, idiot, you gotta sleep. All
yeah, but
right.
you were burning the candle at both ends for like days because of a
And in the
situation
middle,
that was
I,
going
I
on.
basically just took the whole candle and threw it on the campfire.
Fuck right. Fuck right.
Yeah. Listen, but sometimes,
Fucking
but that's because, and I'll tell you, that's because of a failure. So it was a
yeah.
failure in a launch of a business. We had to do a massive pivot. We still wanted to hit our launch date. So there's a lot of work that's required to it. So we had to
But
pivot, rebrand everything. And that's
but
fine.
that failure also had outside influence.
Oh, for
So
sure.
it wasn't a complete failure on your part. There
No,
was other
sometimes they are.
moving parts.
Sometimes it's 100% on me, of course.
Okay, so what was your failure in that moment? Let's talk about it.
So
What
this
would
one
you
was actually it was a working relationship with another business. They feel like it's competition on brand. So we've since pivoted to a completely new brand, which has actually opened up a lot of doors to new vendors, new services, new everything, a completely revamped style of an affiliate program as to how it's going to operate. Tons of free stuff because I built a lot of free apps and I never got around to launching them. So now I'm
Yeah.
just gonna put them in there and just be like, "Cool, it's all free. Just go take it. No problem."
Okay, so what I'm hearing for all my Catholics and Christians out there are gonna love this phrase.
Mm.
God doesn't close a door without opening a window. But he didn't open a window, he kicked open barn doors for you,
Yeah, well, I mean, I took a sledgehammer to the
essentially.
wall is what happened. Yeah.
But you
Yeah,
had
you
to hit
closing the
it.
door? Cool. I'm just gonna get a different tool. Instead of using my hands, I'm gonna get a different tool.
Yeah, but you didn't. You didn't
Right.
stay at that door. You walked to a complete other door and then you fucking kicked it open. It wasn't even like a let's turn the knob and see how this goes.
No,
You were like, we're gonna fucking do this shit.
yeah,
And like head down, ass up, and you just did it. And then I'm like, hey bud, are you good? And you're like, I'm gonna need a day. And I'm like, that's
yeah,
burnout.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't turn my fucking
Are
phone
you
off.
celebrating sleep? That's
Apparently.
burnout. Bum, 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 bum.
I know. I forgot to mute my phone. Fucking bones. Go
You
away.
know what? I never have my ringer on. Never.
I do, but that's an ADHD thing. A lot of ADHD people don't have their phones on. They like silent. They do the vibrate thing. It's because
No, not even
it's
vibrate.
because
Nothing. It's do not disturb for
yeah, but
all.
I'm going to tell you, I've met a lot of people in the ADHD and autism realm that they
Mhm.
don't have their phones on any type of sound. And
Yeah.
I asked why, and this is what I was told. I was told when we get into a high focus,
Mm.
we don't want it to be broken. And if it gets broken, like how my phone just rang, I was like, oh, whatever. It doesn't throw me off track. Whereas somebody else, it's like absolutely frustrating for them to be pulled out of their focus.
That's not why I have it off. I have it off just because I think it's
Well, you
annoying.
don't like to be bugged and you don't like
I don't
phone and
like
you don't like
phones.
technology.
I don't like phones. Like,
You touch grass more than most people.
uh, yeah, like after this podcast is done, I'll be back working outside, working on this tan. I look like I've been
Why
living
aren't
on
you
a boat.
outside?
Why am I not outside yet? Oh, because we were doing all the pre-launch stuff this morning, so I just got right into meetings this morning. I just hadn't had a chance to go out.
Okay, so we did a podcast the day after. Do we wanna launch that one? Because that one is where you're outside. Do we wanna launch that one? It's got a lot of weird
Think
shit in it. Do we wanna just say,
I might
"Fuck
have
it"?
thrown it up. I think I might have thrown it up on YouTube. Maybe I think it's already up on YouTube. I mean, it's in Podcast AI, so
Whatever.
I think it's up. I think I put it out. I don't know. I don't remember.
I didn't see it. It hasn't come through on my Apple or my Spotify, but
Maybe it's just not a good episode. I don't know.
no, I mean, like, I don't see it. Like, I always listen to all my episodes.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and then we had to fix Nancy's. God, I didn't even realize that it was cutting out so bad. I felt horrible when she texted me, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I think that was on upload. So I think it was an upload issue because it was fine in the recording studio, except the beginning. So I just had to do a touch of editing so it doesn't sound silly.
Listen, with all the new things that are going on with Riverside, I think you just need to be with me on my podcasts.
Yeah,
With
I'd say.
people.
Yeah.
Me by myself, I'm good. I can I can talk shit. Yeah, because you were on the one with me and Jade. That one launches today, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
she's just checking her YouTubies at the
Do
same
it.
time because
I
of
know
course,
Michael has all the access.
yeah. Episode 12 went out. Yeah, it's on YouTube,
Oh,
so
that's
that means it's got to be in your podcast AI. So
I know it's in podcast, yeah, but I didn't launch it, so I wasn't sure if you did. I was like, "Whatever, he'll do whatever. I don't give a shit."
yeah, it's out.
It was a
It's
good
out.
it was
Bonus
a good
episode.
one. You were outside and we were just gib-gabbing about bullshit.
Yep.
All
Yeah.
right, so let's see. So you talked about, and this is where I really like, so we're going to talk about all of these as we go through this because, and not just today, but like over time, but like there's ones that I liked more than others, but we talked about entitlement problem. You talked about burnout, bad clients, government regulations, payment issues, liability growth, why experienced tradespeople stop taking certain jobs, reputation is the new resume, cost of being right. Oh, let's see. No, 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 no. Nobody teaches this stuff. I like that one.
Mhm.
The real skills that make people successful aren't taught in school. Very true.
They aren't.
Very true.
We're actually taught to
Um,
be slaves in school.
so and then there's like that's the most of them. And then why good contractors leave industry.
Mhm.
So there's one thing that I mean, it's something that we could talk about with the HR aspect when we talk about those things, but I think it all falls into entitlement problems, and that was the one that stuck out to me. Entitlement happens on both sides,
Yes.
and it is very exploited and very abused. And it is why people are so fucking tainted
Mhm.
inside of industries. Not industry, industries
All of
across
them.
the board.
Yeah.
And it's something that stresses me out because people will be like, "Oh, it's Gen X or Gen Z or boomers," or a lot of them blame Gen Z, and I don't blame Gen Z. I don't blame them at all. Um, I feel like boomers have passed too much down to X. X is more willing to um, take a different approach. We're more malleable in the ideas of how we want to, depending on where you are in Gen X. The like, if you're down further, you know what I mean? Like if you're closer to the boomer side, no, you're like fuck you. But if you're kind of like after like mid 70s, between like this like 71 to 75 and down is where you're more malleable and you're more like willing to look at things from a different perspective. Millennials are of course always just going to do what they want to do, which
Show
is
up
not
at
a bad thing.
10.
But I find that the millennials and the Gen Zs are kind of more toe to toe. Like people were like, "Oh, well, it depends where you are." But then, like I said, it depends where you're born as a millennial. If you're born like in the 90s and up, like between 80s and 90s, like no, you're gonna be like, "Fuck off." You don't have. I find people born in different generations don't near the same goals, the same ideals, the same traits, the same ideas of how things should be. But what I'm saying is that with entitlement, you've got, like I said, you got it on both sides. I see it more on the employer side, and then I see it with like, so I see it with there's two different things that I see, and I see it on with both people. So I'll just spit it out to you. The people that expect you to do anything and everything, work 2 to 3 jobs and pay you for one and don't even pay you well for that one.
Go get a new
And
job.
then we talk about burnout and I'm like, you're burning out your staff. But then not only that, but we've got so many people now that are paying attention and are going, your compensation package doesn't match my skill set, and the skill set you've asked me to acquire over the last 2 years. So
Right.
we need to change this. And then bosses are like running around screaming, and not owners, not necessarily owners, bosses that have been put in those places, managers that have put in those
Yeah, your
places. And
middle
like,
management. Yeah.
yeah. And they're just like, "Oh, wow, fucking man, I can't believe this. Like, this was part you accepted these tasks." And they try to find loopholes inside of HR, but the reality is it's still considered there's still a compensation discrepancy which can be fought in Canada. If I am working X amount of time and my contract says this and I've taken on this and you haven't increased my compensation, you have a claim through labor standards.
Okay.
Labor standards will look at it and be like, "You're not being compensated accordingly." So that's where more people need to realize that they have more like laws on their side than
Mhm.
they think they do.
Well, as I've
And you
always
don't have
said,
to
it's
hire a
never
lawyer.
I've always said never stop looking for another job. Even if you
Yeah,
love
always make yourself
it,
available.
never stop looking for another job.
Mm. You know what I was reading, Michael, and I know you're gonna like this. I'm gonna fucking pivot for a second, but I know you're gonna like this, and I know you're gonna understand where I'm going with it.
'Kay.
I saw something the other day where, and I mean, like, I've heard about it before, but it came back around on my feed because I'm a social media person that likes to blank out and just watch different reels, but I
Yeah.
have an algorithm that's set
Pretty good.
to
Yeah.
funny. I watch a lot of comedians. So, um, but there was one that came on, and it was how they had at one point, Ford many years ago created a hemp-based fuel system for a car. But of course, that's not gas and oil, so that got fucking silenced real quick
Right.
and shut down. And then there was obviously Nikola Tesla,
Mm.
who had a vehicle that could run off, uh, they didn't say electricity, but I'm gonna say a form of electricity because he didn't require any fuel. That got silenced. It seems like anything that's going to, and then same, they had a tire. I think Goodyear or one of the tire companies, I think it was Goodyear,
Firestone,
created,
maybe.
what's that?
Firestone, maybe.
I don't remember.
Anyways,
One of the tire companies that's been around for, like, ever and a day, way back when, created a tire that you wouldn't have to change out for a decade. That got silenced and
oh,
pushed. And I'm like, "Well, we need them now."
right.
"Where's that fucking tire? Bring that shit back. I need that on my truck. I don't wanna change my fucking tires every 2 to 3 years. This is bullshit."
I always think it's funny when you look at vehicles, and I mean, I've gone down a rabbit hole. I'm not an expert in this at all. Like, I mean, like, I can do anything with houses and buildings, but cars, like, I mean, like, I'd probably have to Google how to change oil.
Yeah,
But it's funny to watch how the fuel efficiency has increased, but
yeah,
because of the safety measures on vehicles that's also required, the weight has increased, so our overall fuel efficiency as the consumer really hasn't changed,
it's true.
right? And you're like, "That's hilarious." Like, there I mean, going back to the, like, hemp-based and stuff like that, there's a
Yeah,
guy, I believe he's in Hamilton, actually, who has a vehicle that runs on water, but he's not allowed to sell it, he can't do anything else, but he's allowed to drive his own vehicle that runs on water.
'kay.
Just water.
There's another one like that, though. There's one, it's a really expensive vehicle. I don't remember what it's called. It's like they made it out, I think it's just out in Germany, and it's, like, called, like, an Aqua something or other, and it runs off water, and
Yeah,
it's a high luxury vehicle.
alright.
I'm
Like, I
like,
mean, there's
"That's like that would cost the same as a house, but then you'd never have to change your
yeah.
vehicle."
Well, my father was working on a program and it ended up getting shut down because of, well, extenuating circumstances that I won't get into.
Yep.
But using magnetic energy,
Mm. Mhm.
right? So, and just using that type of stuff. I mean, the shaker flashlight thing, right? You know, it's just copper rod across a coil, or copper cylinder across a coil, right? So
So what
same
it
like
was,
the crank batteries and stuff like that. Your tires are turning. Why aren't you grabbing some free electricity from that? Like, I mean, it's pretty
right.
simple.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, all these stuffs are easy things for the auto industry to do, but the auto industry is also getting crazy. Like these new Ford trucks that are going to have facial recognition that if you look distressed, you can't start your vehicle. What?
Right? I'm
What?
like, that's Big Brother. You need to calm down on that." Yeah.
Yeah, like that's insane. The new Apple tracking thing that they're trying to get pushed through on C22, where they know where all your devices are at all times. Like what?
So this is where I tell you, this is where the entitlement aspect of me is coming in, is that there, everything that has been placed on this earth has been placed on this earth for us to be able to function as we grow as a human society.
Mhm.
Okay? But you've got these people that discovered oil, kept it, bought all these things and made it theirs. And now the only way you can do stuff is to go through their systems and just keep getting richer and richer and richer and making us poorer and poorer and poorer because we require oil and gas aspects instead of allowing for everything else. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's like a power complex. It's like, oh, well, we're going to silence these guys that are making hemp and water and fucking electrical vehicles. I mean, now electrical vehicles are more of a thing, but our grids aren't built for a lot of these vehicles. So
No.
I believe that had we, and this is, and they knew that was going to happen. So they were like, haha, fuck you. But this is kind of where I look at it and I say to myself, had this actually gone through when Nikola Tesla was actually around and when he first fucking put this out, like this was like fucking years ago, we would have had the grid system.
Yep.
It would have been implemented. And we would all be driving electric vehicles. You know, Europe predominantly drives electrical vehicles. They've been doing this for years. Like, we are so fucking far behind. It freaks me out. Like, in healthcare, in vehicles, in workplace happiness and safety. And we're so far behind Europe. It freaks me out. I'm just like when I went to go do all my stuff for my ailment, like for my critical illness, and they're like, oh, they're doing all this in Europe. And I'm like, but yet I got to sit in front of a doctor who's like looking at me like I'm an idiot.
Right.
Like, "Oh, I can't hear that you're doing all those things." And I'm like, "Fuck you." Like this is where they start in Europe. Like, they want me to have a quality of life. They want me to get better. They want me to understand what I need to do for my vitality. And you're sitting there going, "No, we're just gonna throw a bunch of drugs in you and see what happens. Shake it up, see what shakes loose." You know what I mean? And it's like, "What the fuck?" So it makes me
I've got a great local doctor here. So he has an urgent care. So I just go to urgent care. I don't have a family doctor, which a
okay.
lot of Canadians don't. But the urgent care, like he actually his bedside manner is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Just direct, which I love, but I think other
Mhm.
people would not like.
Yeah,
But he doesn't like the healthcare sector. He doesn't like the way it's handled. He doesn't like how people are dealt with. He doesn't like the waiting. He doesn't like I had to get an MRI done, an ultrasound done, and an X-ray done. He gave me referrals and told me exactly where to go, that it was done in 3 days.
yeah,
All those things were done in 3 days, and you're like, "I hear people are waiting for 6 months, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah, a year." This guy just told me exactly where to go. "Go here. Go here. Go here. Here's the phone numbers. Here's their business card. Go there." Like, he knows everybody,
yeah,
right? The healthcare sector's messed up. Like we were talking about with fuel, like, things like Edison Motors that's making these, diesel electric trucks in Canada
yeah,
that have tried to do everything they can to get these out there, and the government keeps shutting him down and shutting him down. He tells his whole story. He's very open about it.
yeah. Well, and to what you're talking about your doctor. So I have a really amazing I do have a GP, so I have a general practitioner, and she's amazing. And she's new to my family because my other one retired.
Right,
So she's mine and Jocelyn's. And you know, she is very pro um she's very pro like natural health care within reason. She's like homeopathic, be careful. There's a lot of, a lot of quacks out there that tell you to fucking eat like a root that you shouldn't be eating that
right.
doesn't do anything to your body. If anything, it fucks all your shit up. So she's always like, do your research. She loves that I have a naturopathic doctor,
Yep.
and my naturopathic doctor's all over the internet because, she's doing great and she's writing books and doing seminars and she keeps doing groundbreaking research on just cancer. She specializes in oncology. But I love my naturopathic doctor. So I love that my GP is very supportive, but here's the problem. There's so much fucking red tape for them.
Right.
Like, I would ask her, "Can I get these blood tests done?" And she's like, "No, because then the clinic has to pay for it, and then we have to then we're scrutinized as to why we requested these when there's no reason for us to request them." I'm like, "There is a reason to request them. I'm asking you to do it." And she's like, "Well," and I'm like, "You want me to pay for it?" And she's like, "Well, no, it's because it's going through the healthcare system. So because you're coming to your GP, we have to put it through." So, and I was like, "Cool." So I'd go to my naturopathic doctor and get her to check all the boxes, and then I would just pay for it. Right? Now, is that ideal? No. Is it a
Mhm.
form of privatized healthcare? Yes. Is it considered a two-tier system? Absolutely. Why? Because that's what the government is forcing. They're
Well,
forcing a
we talked
two-tier
about it the
system.
other day. We already have 2-tier with the
Yeah,
difference between
but they're
Canadians
forcing the
and
two-tier
immigrants,
system.
right?
Like, if we were more like Europe, we would be naturopathic doctors and regular and Western medicine doctors would be working hand in hand together. They're both required. It's not like one's gonna snuff out the other. They are both required.
I haven't followed up on this, but is the Canadian government still looking to shut down a lot of herbal care, that type of stuff, like importing of this, all that type of jazz? I'd read
Oh,
it a
I
while
heard
ago
about
and I
that.
never
Yeah, and I
followed up.
freaked out and, like, overbought all my fucking supplements.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether or not they've actually followed through with that, but like
I
when it
don't
first
think
happened, you're like,
so.
"What?"
I don't think so because there's a
Okay.
lot of people paying attention. So, like, when I was talking to you about what the reel that I saw, these are a lot of the things that I see on my reels, like all natural healthcare, dieting, oncology. Those are a lot of things that I follow of what people have done and their stories. I
Right.
follow that a lot. So that's kind of where that came from is, like, because it was talking about how if women ruled the world,
Right.
that we'd have healthcare, that these things would exist,
Maybe.
that these things, you know what I mean? So it was talking about if that men have become, you know, gluttonous with power and control and manipulation and just wanting more and more and more, whereas women, not saying that women aren't like that, but the majority of women aren't.
Maybe.
We're more the humanitarian, we're more the
I'm gonna go
nurturers.
solid maybe on that.
Not
No
anymore. I mean,
idea.
like, look, yeah, but here's the thing. If women were in power from go, do you think that there would be a whole bunch of like crazy women working and all the craziness would happen? Or do you think there'd be more of a nuclear family setting?
I think there's a potential to go on either slope, same as what it was with men, same as with women. I think
That's
power
fair.
corrupts and it corrupts, and that's it.
I don't like the
I
new
don't think it's exclusive by sex. I don't think it's exclusive by age, by gender, by where you grew up, by country, by I don't think any of that makes it exclusive. Power is power is power. And I think it's
Yeah,
all up
but
to
the
the
majority
individual.
of power is held by men, which puts their foot on the neck of women, which tells us what to do. But when you look at the way the old way
Maybe.
was, when you look at the tribes, when you look at the indigenous, when you look at the people in different countries and women are running their tribes flow. Women are very they're the heart and soul of it. They're the protectors, they're the ones that cook, clean, make clothes, help the children, and they all help each other and they're very communal. And men go out and do, because men are built for stamina, so they go out and hunt and they go out and they help build things. But at the end of the day, it is there's like a nice, like, cohesive way that everybody kind of, like, everybody has their role and everybody understands what their role is, and there's more fluidity and they accept everybody. Like, I remember in some tribes, if you were gay, because you're born gay, right? If you were gay or if you were
Maybe.
trans, they'd call you born with two spirits. That's what they'd call you. They wouldn't cast you out. They wouldn't tell you there's anything wrong with you. They just tell you you were born with two spirits, and then they just love you the way they love you and you carry on, right? Like, so that's something that I look at. And these are tribes that are being ran by women. They're like, well, we're not going to cast them out. They have purpose. Maybe they beat stuff because, like, our little boy over here who wants to be a girl might be really good at beating, and he sure is. So they find purpose. Women play on strengths. I know that in my job, I do. I play on strengths of everybody in my team, which is why my teams work really well, in my opinion, because I play to their strengths.
I'll say like working in some offices, I will say the women are by far the worst to other women than men are to other men.
100%.
So then
And
how if you put them all at the top of running society, if you translate that from the business environment to political, which is just another business, if you were to translate that, how would that work then, Lisa?
okay, but that's part of the patriarchy. Women hate women because of the patriarchy. They need to, don't you touch my man. That's my man, blah, blah, blah. Fight over men. Like, it's fucking stupid. I've told people I will never fight over a man. Never. You want
No, no,
them?
no.
Fucking be my
I'm just
problem.
talking about the business environment, like competition in position.
Still, it's always about trying to be better. You want to be better than that person. It's all about image. And that has been something that's come from the patriarchy. If you come from this family, then this is your bloodline and this is what you need to do. It's no different than me. Someone like me who owns their own business, has a podcast, has two kids, single mom. I go to meetings, and let me tell you something, 90% of the time, I don't walk into a meeting all decked out. I'm in construction. I am not walking into a meeting all decked out. Now, do I go to networking events? Somewhat, like, put together,
Mm,
girly? Yeah, of course. Conferences? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But for the most part, no. If I'm walking, I can go into business meetings with $1 million people and I am wearing a fucking t-shirt
right.
and leggings and my hair's up. And sure, got my makeup on, got my earrings on, got my hoodie on, but that's about as good as it's going to get. And people are like, "Oh, I see you dressed up." And I'm like, "Always."
So a little inflammatory. The only reason women act the way they act is you're saying because of the patriarchy, no other reason.
A big portion of it, yeah. Yeah. Competitive nature wasn't really part of women. If you go back, the competitiveness was more of a communal aspect where it wasn't like I'm competing against you. It was we are competing for, like, we, the women, are competing to create a better life for everybody versus who's sleeping with who and who's doing what with who and who's better than who. They were all equal on some level, unless depending on your age, right? So in certain cultures, children will call people either Miss or Mrs. or Auntie and Uncle, and it's just respect. There's no fucking relation, but they just call them Auntie or Uncle because it's a form of respect, right? So
Right.
yes, that is 100%. That's what I think. I think that a lot of the bullshit between women is 100% based off of the patriarchy and being a good Christian, quote unquote. Christian.
I guess. I guess.
My
I don't know. You know what?
It's just my
I'm not
opinion. You
enough
don't
of
have
a
to agree with it.
historian
It's
to
just my
know
opinion.
this, and I know if I jumped on Google, I could get confirmation bias for either direction.
100%.
So I don't. I mean, in my opinion, I think humans be humans. At the end of the day, everyone's a little bit greedy. Everyone's competitive, regardless of whether
Agreed.
or not you're nature or nurture.
Agreed. But if you didn't know what it was, Michael, if we all lived in what we would classify as a sanctuary, okay? So we're quoting sanctuary. So as in we grew our own food, we didn't have devices, there was no real scale to climb. I mean, there's always going to be a hierarchy inside of every community, and that's usually how it goes. There's always some sort of hierarchy, like there's chiefs or there's whatever, right?
Right.
So in my brain, I look at it as everybody you're not paying money. You're all working. You're all helping to contribute. You're all helping to make sure that everything's okay. You go to witch doctors to help cure them. You know what I mean? And they're all part of your tribe. You're doing sweats, you're doing this, you're doing that. If you go back to the earth, much like you do, and everybody was that person and they weren't stuck on devices and they weren't stuck in these fucking mindsets that you have to keep climbing, 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 more money, more money, more money. This is the life I want. If we all had a similar life, a similar way of living, a similar opportunity for all the things, and I don't say same, I say
Oh,
similar because we
I
all have
think
different
that
skill sets.
it
You're
sounds
going to sit,
awfully socialist to me, which I would never agree with.
oh, wah.
Never. Never. You know what? Because if you
That's
look
why
through
you're
it, that you can look through history pretty easily. It's never worked.
I'm
And
just
you
saying
can
it's never
blame it
worked
on
because no
men, you can
because someone
blame it
always
on
comes in and
whatever.
fucking destroys it. So you can't say it's never worked. Someone always comes in and destroys it.
Usually itself. It eats itself.
Give me an example of where it's destroyed itself. Where
That's
someone
I
has
don't
not
know.
where there has not been external influence. Tell me one.
Well, I mean, Germany would be a great one.
Okay, so you're telling me that in Germany they were all in like little huts and they were doing their thing, and then all of a
No, but it
sudden
was I
some
just talked socialism. Sorry, I thought we had
okay.
pivoted. Just living in a again, I don't know these small tribes, but I guarantee okay, let's take the native Indians, for
Mhm.
example, that lived in their own tribes. Incredibly violent towards each other, tribe to tribe to tribe, because there was expansion, there was growth, there was hunting, there's water, there's stuff to live off of. There's an inherent greed, I think, in everyone that you can't turn off. You just
Mhm.
can't start. You can try your best. I donate a ton of my time. Probably 90% of my time is donated like live in action of handing out food or time and energy or whatever.
Yep.
I do a
Me
ton of
too.
that.
Yep.
But I'm still greedy. I still want more money. I still want to be better for myself, better for my family, better for legacy, for sure.
I can get behind that because I'm greedy in different ways, right? So
Mhm.
I'm greedy with time. Like I want more time with certain people. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm just like when I get greedy when it comes to people that I love. So if somebody's like, "Oh, do you want to come to a party?" and I just want to spend time with them, I'm like, "No, you don't want to go either because it's you and me hanging out and it's you and me time. And I don't want to fucking share you with anybody else."
Ah, that's funny.
It's true. If you ask any of my friends, they're like, "Oh yeah, Lisa's psycho." She's like, "Listen, we're having us time. I don't
Right.
see you for like fucking weeks or months, and then I get to see you, and you're like, let's like make this a party." She's like, "No,
Mm,
I'm jealous of my time. I want my time."
mm.
But that's a fair statement, Michael. I mean, do I agree that that is an actual concept inside of every person that there's jealousy or this? Yeah, absolutely, and greed and all of those things and competitiveness. Of course, I do. Of course, I think that that exists inside of every person. But what I'm saying is, yes, it is a very socialist way of looking at things, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily against it. That's not where we are. Is
No.
it something that I would run out and do? Go join a fucking convent and do all no. No. No.
Yeah.
I've seen too much, I know too much, and where my area lies in my world is not there. I'm
Right.
saying that had it been going on for years and years and years, and women were still running aspects of their tribes and helping grow everything, maybe it would be very different. Maybe it wouldn't, but we don't know. We
Well,
don't
the
know.
interesting
We're
part
too
is if you look at North America, aren't men all raised by women anyways?
The majority of them are raised by women, but a lot of them just come into this. You know what I don't understand? I don't understand when men are raised by women, but then turn into womanizers or women haters.
Because you don't get the
There's,
balance of male and female perspective.
mm, I disagree with that because then there are men, like there's some athletes, okay, who don't even know their father and celebrities that don't even know their father, never met the guy. Now that they're rich, dad's calling, hey, hey, I'm your dad. And they're like, fuck you. And they're really sweet to their mothers and they're sweet to their significant others too. Like they grew up very balanced with a single mom working multiple jobs, maybe had some uncles around, maybe didn't, but are like they grow up on two ends of the spectrum.
You still need balance. Growing up as a man, you need both. I think it's very difficult for men to grow up and only have the female perspective.
I could have dealt without men in my
Tell it to your kids.
What are you talking about? It was immaculate conception.
Ah, little Jesus babies.
That's right.
Jesus and Jesusette. But I think there's balance. I think there's balance in everything. The yin and the yang has to exist. You need to know both sides of the story. You
Yeah.
know, like even when you're in an argument, right? There's their story, and the truth. And without knowing both sides, how can you possibly know? So everybody lives through confirmation bias. We watch reels that maybe are real, maybe are AI, and people watch it and they absolutely believe it without going to check it. Right. Like
Now you got to fact check everything.
this ability to disseminate information and have your own opinion
Oh my God.
rooted in single-sidedness is ridiculous.
So scary, Michael. AI is fucking terrifying. I love AI for my business,
Mm.
but I took a picture of me and a picture of someone else through AI and said, turn this picture into a happy couple. Holy shit. Fucking scary. On one hand, I was like, oh, that's cute. Oh my God, that's fucking scary. You can't believe your own eyes.
Nope. But I mean, our generation has always said that. Never believe your lying eyes and ears, right? So question everything, but then sometimes you have to believe your eyes and ears because like it's right there. But the internet's not eyes and ears.
No.
You see it in person, that's different.
Yeah.
You see it on the internet, okay, before you even go to make a comment, before you go to do something else like that, you know what, just save that thing. Go check it out, figure it out,
Yeah.
take a look at both sides. Type in like your query, your search query, whatever you type in,
Yeah.
type in the polar opposite and see what it says on the other side. Check both.
Huh. That's a good point. I love
Right?
that.
As somebody who works in AI and the stuff I could create, I could do whatever.
I know. It freaks me out.
Like
But we're at
whatever I
42
wanted.
minutes. We're at 42 minutes, Michael.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna need to shut up and stop talking.
Time,
You know,
time
I don't
flies
have my
when you're having
glasses
fun.
on, so I'm not looking at the counter. One day we'll get under 25 minutes. We will do
We
that one
did.
day.
We've done it once.
Was it under 25? I don't think it was under 25.
I think so. I have to go back and look.
I don't think so.
I got to set my timer again. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Well, your phone did go off. That was probably maybe around the 25 minute mark.
No, it wasn't. It was about 9 minutes. So I was like,
Well,
You know
we
what I
got
mean?
lots of time. Just another 40 minutes.
you're amazing. Okay, we'll wrap up. We'll catch you guys all on the flip side and have an amazing week and don't do anything crazy.